Hi everyone, this is Megzabo69 with Take the Red Pill. This is the second video in the series that I'm making, and before we proceed, I wanted to just touch quickly on something that I don't know if any of you caught. Lamont Mapp, the theist, turned around and he started off by saying that everything that Jason said was wrong. Then a little bit down the road, when it came to reality, he said he agreed with Jason. And so there's an inconsistency right there. So, you will see other inconsistencies down the road. Just pay attention and you will pick them up. But here's the thing. Let's see if he can stick with what reality truly is. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start.
My opponent might say that science is what helps us differentiate between reality and perception, so that God is unnecessary. However, the foundation for discovering reality scientifically is the ability to trust your own mind. Science began with Christian men like Johannes Kepler, Galileo, who gave birth to astronomy, Sir Isaac Newton, who gave birth to physics. Physics was first called Newtonian physics, it belonged to Newton. And Adam Sedgwick, who gave birth to geology and discovered the fossil stratum, the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic.
Okay, first of all, science did not precisely begin with Christian men. Anyway, who cares if some, not all, scientists started off as Christians? I mean, they followed scientific methods in order to come up with answers. They did not use God to come up with their answers.
Who believed that they could only perform science because their creator had endowed them with a mind fit for accomplishing such a big task.
Okay, unless he either interviewed these scientists or read their actual biographies, I would like to know where's the proof of his claim that these scientists believe they could only perform science because their creator had endowed them the mind fit for accomplishing such big tasks? It sounds like he's reaching pretty far with this assertion.
John Lennox, an Oxford mathematician and bioethicist I had the courtesy of having dinner with he and his wife at Gig Harbor, he said this: "My problem with atheism is not that it attempts to undermine God. My problem with atheism is that it undermines the intelligibility needed to do science." I'll repeat that. He says, my problem with atheism is not that it attempts to undermine God. My problem with atheism is that it undermines the intelligibility needed to do science. So how does atheism undermine intelligibility? The answer is that it takes purpose away from the human brain. I know that face. That's the Lamont, that was really harsh face. Well, allow me to explain. The word purpose implies intention or objective. For instance, the purpose of this microphone is to amplify my voice, right? Therefore, the microphone is accomplishing the objective for which it was intended by its designer. It's accomplishing its purpose. That's my phone going off. However, according to atheism, we have no purpose because the universe didn't intend to put us here.
Okay, so let me get this straight. He asserted that according to atheism, we have no purpose because the universe did not intend to put us here. Well, here's the fact of the matter. According to atheism, the only thing that stands true is atheism or atheists do not believe in a deity. That is all. So again, he's using the straw man fallacy to make his claim and generalizing according to his misbelief. He apparently has no clue what atheism is all about.
We are simply chemistry in motion. Time, matter, and chance. I can't help but find it funny when an atheist biologist says something like, the purpose of a rhinoceros horn is to help fend off enemies and protect it from predators. You understand the logical fallacy there? According to atheism.
Okay, I hope by now that you guys are picking up a pattern, because he keeps saying, according to atheism, and then he's stating these fallacies. So anyway, I hope this will not lose you, because remember, the last thing he says according to atheism, and then he's going to continue on with saying what he's saying. Let's proceed.
The rhinoceros horn has no purpose. And here's what I mean. The word purpose implies intention, right? But DNA neither knows nor cares. DNA didn't intend for rhinos to have horns, nor was there any objective for which the horn was intended. But through time, matter, and chance, and millions of genetic mistakes, the rhino developed the horn, and the horn has become advantageous to the creatures who use them as weapons. That's what the atheist should say. But because it looks like it has purpose, they say the purpose of a rhino's horn is, the purpose of a dolphin's fin is, when there's really no purpose behind it at all. According to atheism, there's no objective for which the brain was intended. But over the course of millions of genetic mistakes, the brain has somehow become advantageous to the animals who have them and use them in a certain way. There's no objective for which the brain was originally intended, therefore the atheist, in order to engage in scientific inquiry, must believe by blind faith that the universe is even intelligible.
Okay, so do you see the straw man fallacy really strong in here? Everything he keeps saying is according to atheism. And again, atheism is just simply lack of belief in a deity. That's it. But he wants to attribute all these other things to atheism, which is a fallacy. And then he turned around and said something pretty funny, that atheists have to have blind faith. If we had blind faith, we would be theists or Christians. Because faith, especially blind faith, is believing something with no evidence. It's the excuse people give when they have no reason. And that is totally contradictory to what atheism is all about. Again, he has no clue what atheism is all about.
There is no evidence for such a stance at all. My second contention is that any worldview...
Okay, now he wants to get into worldviews. Atheism is not a worldview, just like Christianity itself is not a worldview. Christianity is a belief. Well, atheism is the opposite of that, lack of.
If argued, must address these four very basic disciplines: origin, purpose, morality, and destiny. If you think about it, these are the foundational questions that children wonder about. Where did this all come from? What is the meaning of it all? How should I respond to it? And where am I going? Origin, meaning, morality, destiny.
Okay, first of all, who says that, according to him, who says that atheism, has a worldview in which they have to address these four things? What worldview?
According to Socrates, these principles were the foundation of philosophy itself that every thinking person should address. Not only should a person defending his worldviews be able to give a response to these disciplines, but his answers should be coherent and corresponding. By coherent, I mean consistent with the other answers. If you have a philosophy about purpose or destiny, for instance, those philosophies should be coherent with your philosophy about morality and origin. They shouldn't contradict each other. And by corresponding, I just mean corresponding with reality. So let's put atheism to the test then concerning these four elementary disciplines, beginning with origin. If you ask an atheist how the universe began, the response might be, I don't know, or nobody knows.
He is right. If you were to ask a lot of atheists, I didn't say all, but a lot of atheists, they would tell you they don't know how the universe started. But the truth of the matter is, nobody really knows how the universe started. I mean, just because we do not have the answer, that does not mean that we have to fill in the gap with God. That is what you call a God that gaps theory. It's another form of the argument of ignorance. We're not, theists or atheists, do not do that. Christians do. They don't have an answer for something, so then the answer has got to be God, just because they don't know. When in all reality, their answer is, we do not know yet.
But according to at least scientific atheists, the origin of the universe was the universe.
Okay, so where's he getting this information that according to atheist scientists, the origin of the universe is the universe? First of all, I would like to know who and how many scientists did he actually interview to, first of all, know that they're atheists, and second of all, to know that they would have said that the origin of the universe is the universe. Right.
But that doesn't make any sense. At this point in history, scientists who attempt to explain the origin of the universe naturalistically end up embarrassing themselves. I'll use the world-famous atheist and theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking and his refutation in his latest book, his refutation of God in his latest book. He says this, direct quote, "Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself out of nothing." There are three logical inconsistencies in that one sentence. Did you catch any of them? I'll read it again. Because there is a law such as gravity, the universe can and will create itself out of nothing.
Okay, now I'm not saying that just because Stephen Hawking is a theoretical physicist and a cosmologist with a PhD that he cannot be wrong, or that we should blindly believe everything he says. However, just because this theist, Lamont Mapp, does not have, or does not and cannot possibly understand what Stephen Hawking is saying, and because he doesn't have all the scientific data in front of him, that should not mean that he just should automatically dismiss it as irrelevant or that it's not true. This is truly an argument of ignorance. Argument from ignorance, sorry. So I'm going to stop here and continue on tomorrow or next with the more of the questions on what is it that this theist is saying. Now, so far what I have introduced is just his opening statements. I will get to the questions later on, the questions and answers that that were answered by him. Also, there was, after the introduction, there was also a couple other, not introductions, but little points that he still made, which I will address as well. Again, I'm going to go through this in a sequential manner, so that way you will understand and see everything that I've been talking about. So until next time, this is Megzable69 with Take the Red Pill.